Today I'm showing you what I do for my son for breakfast. Now, sometimes he has something different every day, which I've done over the last week so I can show you the things that he has. And sometimes he has the same thing 2 or 3 times a week because I do a little bit more or I batch cook and it's just easier, saves me time and saves me money. This isn't for you to judge me for what my son has, because I will warn you, there is a lot of cheese here because he is a cheese monster and he loves cheese. And if it means that he's going to eat breakfast every morning, I'm more than happy for him to have that. I think there was like 1 day, 2 days where there wasn't cheese in breakfast, but he eats a good breakfast every day. There's always more left over, so if he doesn't feel full, he can have more. But I just wanted to give some idea of what I do for my son for breakfast each morning that keeps him full, keeps him full of energy for the day. And there are some odd ones as well, just to let you know, but I'll explain it all as we go through the video. So watch the video, see what you think. Let me know whatever breakfast ideas you think my son would like. He doesn't like cereal. He's not a fan of toast. Sometimes he'll have it, sometimes he won't. Doesn't like crumpets, not a fan of chocolate pans anymore, and doesn't even like croissants. So I'm very restricted with what he likes, but the breakfast that I'm about to show you is breakfast that he eats, and my main job as a mum is to make sure that he is eating breakfast every single day, which I am accomplishing, so I'm happy. If you don't know me, my name is Rachel. I'm a solo mum to one, and on this channel I talk everything frugal living, budgeting, mum life and everything else in between. If you like that kind of thing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, but let me jump straight into the video. So breakfast starts on a Tuesday this week because he was at my ex-husband's for the Monday. So this is Tuesday's breakfast. So he has an egg wrap today. So first of all, I just melted a little bit of butter in the pan. I've used coconut oil before, but my son didn't like the taste of it. So I started using butter and it worked much better. So I make sure that I get that butter all the way around the pan because the egg doesn't stick to the pan then, unless of course you've got a non-stick frying pan and you won't need to. Once I've done that, I then get 1 egg or 2 eggs, depending on how hungry it is. This was just 1 egg. I mix it up in a jug and then I just pour it into the pan, and then I move the pan around so that the egg covers the entire pan. I've done it before where I forgot to do that and it just was like this big clumpy egg. So make sure that you move it around the pan. I leave it to cook for a couple of minutes on one side, and then I turn the heat down. My son has now taken over the camera, so if it's a bit shaky, that's my son. And I place a small mini wrap on top of the egg. Now, I don't have a spatula, so I've been using 2 wooden spoons, which makes it a bit tricky. And then I flip it over and I straighten the egg out, and I just leave it for a few minutes while I add some cheese in the middle of the egg wrap. So I just put cheese, but you can put ham, tomato, spinach, you can put anything that you or your child likes. Once I've done that, I get my trusty wooden spoons again, and this is where the tricky bit comes in because it'd be so much easier with a spatula, and I will go to Home Bargains today and buy one. And I try to grab the wrap and flip it over, so I flip it completely in half, just like that. I got there in the end. And then what I'm going to do is just leave it for a few minutes. I don't want to put the heat up too high because it will burn. So you want to keep it on like a medium heat. I do move it around a lot so it doesn't burn, because if there is one part of burnt food on my son's meals or plate, I have to either redo it or pick it off, or he just refuses to eat it. So I always make sure that I'm moving it around, and that's why it's such on a low heat. I do check that it's nice and brown on the other side. This wasn't, so I put it back down for a few minutes and I push down to make sure that all the cheese in the middle melts as well. This has to be one of my son's favourite breakfasts. He absolutely loves this. Once it's brown on one side, I'm going to flip it over. As you can see here, it's nice and brown on one side, and I just leave that again for a few minutes so it can brown on the other side. My son absolutely loved being involved in the recording for this video. He done 2 of them and he absolutely loved it. He did a great job. I think he did a great job. So once it's brown on the other side, I then just going to flip it over again and onto the plate it goes. So also with this, he's got a whole orange and he's got a vitamin. So these, as you can see, do not take long to do. So if he's eaten this and he's still hungry, I can do him another one. But usually this does fill him up. I always cut it in half for him because it's just easier for him to eat. And as you can see, it's nice and melted right in the middle. Just there, and that's his breakfast for Tuesday. So let's move on to breakfast for Wednesday. So here we have pizza bagel, another one of his favorites. So this is just a bagel thin, and I put it under the grill to just toast that side to start with. Now my oven works, but not great. It's really not worth using, and it's not going to get fixed. So we are just working with what we've got, but the grill does work. But again, it doesn't heat massively, but it heats enough to toast one side. Once I've toasted one side, I flip it over. I then get to my tomato puree. This is another one that my son helped me record. And I don't put a huge amount on to start with because I've done it before. I put lots on and I'm wasting it. So I just put a small amount on, then I spread it around the entire bagel. And you'll see in a moment, this wasn't quite enough. So then I add a little bit more. That way I'm not wasting any food and I'm actually saving a little bit of money because I'm not wasting the food. So make sure that the whole bagel is covered in tomato puree. You can do it with tomato ketchup if you want to, but we've tried that, but my son much prefers it to be tomato puree than tomato ketchup. So always make sure I've got one in the cupboard. Bit shaky there. My little boy was doing so good. I also need to add a little bit more on this one as well. So again, all the way round. I mean, would you prefer tomato ketchup or tomato puree? Let me know. Then we get some more cheese. I told you there was a lot of cheese in this breakfast video. And we just add cheese all around the bagel. Yes, it does fall sometimes onto the grill and it's a pain in the backside trying to clean out melted cheese, but it is what it is. And then we do the other one as well. This has got to be another one of my son's favourite breakfasts. This one and the wrap, I think he enjoys the most. And then once you've covered it all in cheese, I used up all the cheese. I then put that back under the grill. Now, as you can see, even though it's under the grill, I can actually use my hands. I don't have to use oven gloves. It doesn't get that hot. So we put that back under the grill for about 5 minutes until the cheese is melted, as you can see, and he absolutely loves this. He doesn't like me to cut it because he likes to pull it apart and have the cheese pull. But if you've got little ones, maybe cut it in half. Again, he has an orange and his vitamin as always. And then moving on to the next one, this is Wednesday. This is egg muffins, and yes, another egg and more cheese. So we whisk 2 eggs up, get some grated cheese, and we got some ham with this one. And again, you can put whatever you want on this. Even with the pizza bagel, you could put some pepperoni, some ham, whatever you want. But with the egg muffins, he likes to have some ham in this one as well. So what I usually do with this, I tear up a couple of slices of ham and I actually put a few at the bottom of the silicone cases. I prefer using silicone ones because I put this in the air fryer and it's just easier to do and easier to clean. But if you've got a tin, an egg muffin tin, just spray it with a little bit of oil and it shouldn't stick, but these just work out better. If I have any ham left over, I always pop it in with the egg and I give that a mix as well. You also make sure that you're seasoning the egg as well with a bit of salt and pepper if you want to. My son doesn't like it, but you can if you want to. We're then going to add 3/4 of the cheese in with the egg and the ham, and then we're going to give that a good mix. Always leave a little bit of cheese left because you're going to put it on the top of the egg muffins when you're done. So it's very hard to try and stir this with one hand, but there it is all mixed in. And then we're going to add the mixture into the silicone cases. Now I only fill it 1/4 of the way full, all the way through all 4 cases, and then when I've got more left I just top it up rather than have like a massive egg muffin and then a little one as well. So these are great for lunches as well. They're great for a little snack, and again for yourself, not just for kids. You could add in some vegetables, some spinach, tomato, top it with feta cheese, whatever you wanted to. My son just likes ham and cheese on his. Sometimes he also likes a little pepperoni as well if we've got any left. So that's all the egg muffins done, and then I'm just going to top that up with some cheese on the top. And again, yes, there's a lot of cheese. I'm fully aware that it's probably not the healthiest, but again, he is eating breakfast, and as a mum, that's my job, is to make sure that he's eating something. Also got lots of protein in there, and as always, he has fruit and a vitamin for breakfast every single day. This week he's had oranges, but sometimes he'll have apples, sometimes he'll have pear, and if I've got strawberries or grapes in, it'll have those as well. So I put all 4 of these into the air fryer, and then I put this in the air fryer for about 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes 15, so I always check it for a 180, 190 in the air fryer. What I do to check it is I get a sharp knife and I put it into the egg muffin. If it comes out clean, then it is cooked. And there's the finished product. Again, the orange and the vitamin as well. I'll have to break off those burnt bits, but he does enjoy this egg muffin. Now let's move on to, I think I am on Friday, and this is a pork patty. So he has this for dinner as well, but I thought he'd like it for breakfast. So yes, that's his Arsenal lunchbox there. So he has pork patty that I put in the air fryer. I put it on for 6 minutes on one side, 6 minutes on the other. In the meantime, I get an English muffin, which I cut completely wrong, and I put that under the grill for a few minutes. He doesn't like it overly toasted, doesn't like it turning brown, just likes it a little bit harder. I also got the Minion vitamins, which he doesn't like, so I had to go and buy different ones. His orange and a tomato ketchup packet, which we actually got from KFC from his birthday, so we just took them home. And then lightly butter the the English muffins, sorry. And then I popped the pork patty on the top. I never closed the lid so that my son can put the tomato ketchup on if he wants to. And that's his breakfast for Friday. Let's move to Saturday. A little bit of an odd one. It's football day. So we fuel him up every football match that he has. So he's got minion pasta here with 2 little sausages that we had left over from the night before. He's got cheese if he wants to add cheese, and he's got pesto if he wants to add some pesto. Also got some cotton candy grapes and strawberries to make sure that he's getting his healthy fruit in. There's also a vitamin in there as well. But also on a Saturday, because it's a big football match, I fuel him up with pasta. Unconventional, but it works with football. And Sunday, we have red velvet pancakes. So we went to M&S to get a pretzel for him after his football match on Saturday. And he saw the red velvet pancakes and taught me into getting them. So we had those on Sunday. He doesn't like anything on his pancakes, nice and plain, with his vitamin and some more grapes and strawberries. And finally, on the Monday, we have some egg wraps again, but done differently. So even though it's the same thing, doing it differently makes him eat it. So I get 2 wraps and I roll them up, and then I get some scissors and I cut them into 4, and I put each one in a silicone case, which I'll show you now. So it looks like this. You've got a hole in the middle and the wrap is round at the edge. And then I get 2 more eggs and I whisk them up with my trusted cheese yet again. So it's very similar, but done in a different way, and it tricks his mind a little bit. We add the cheese. Again, you can add ham, pepperoni, tomato, spinach, whatever you want. My son won't touch that stuff. He's a very fussy eater, but this works for him, and I'm hoping it might help you guys with some ideas for your kids too. So give that a good mix. And just like the egg muffins, we're going to pour it into the silicone cases just here. I only put it quarter of the way up on all 4, and then if I've got some extra left, then I just top each one up. And then once I've done that, I then top that up with some cheese on the top, so it's got some nice melted cheese just there. And as you can see, it's just going back through and topping them up. And again, these go into the air fryer, 180 for 10 minutes. You can go a little bit lower and put it on for a little bit longer because the wraps do burn quite quickly. And if you don't want to put them in the air fryer, you can put them in the oven as well. It's just quicker in the air fryer, I find. And putting them in these silicone cases, it makes it much easier to clean as well. So again, I'm topping it all up with some cheese. Pop this into the air fryer and in it goes. And they do come out slightly burnt. These ones did this time, so I've had to break all the burnt bits off, which you will see right about now. So as you can see around the edge, it burnt slightly. But these are the wrap egg muffins that he really enjoys, cotton candy grapes, and he's got his little vitamin there as well. So as you can see, I made 4. So if this isn't enough, I can always give him more. But I had to break all those burnt bits off for him, and that's what it looks like after after the bits are broken off. So let me flip back to me now to end the video. So there we have it. That's 7 breakfast ideas that my son has. Again, sometimes he has different one every single day, and sometimes he can have the same breakfast 2 or 3 times in that week. So it just depends what my day looks like, whether I'm rushed or what's going on. So my freezer is full of things like egg muffins and the egg wrap things, and he absolutely loves it. And until he says otherwise, I'm more than happy to give it to him. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Hope maybe it gave you some inspiration. They don't take long to do. You can batch cook it all on a Sunday and pop it in the freezer if you wanted to. When you're making one lot of egg muffins, actually make 2 batches of them, and then you've got some for the following day or for later in the week. And I'm hoping that it was a budget-friendly, easy, simple breakfast ideas that maybe can give you some ideas if you've got fussy eaters just like me. But let me know in the comments what you like. If you want to hate on me, that's fine. I don't really mind. My son eats, and that's the most important thing. There are a lot of people in the world that don't eat, and there's a lot of people, even in the UK, that are struggling with money and just has to give them a simple, basic breakfast as they can. And sometimes I know some mums actually go without breakfast so they can feed their kids. So the fact that my kid is eating, even if it's not really healthy, even if it's full of cheese, I feel very privileged to be able to do that. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give me a like. Also, if you think someone else might benefit from some of these breakfast ideas, share it with them as well. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos from me. I hope whenever you're watching this, you're having a good morning, good day, or good evening. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.